Good morning, Educate, Inspire, Change. This is Josh Trent from Wellness Force with Kasim, the founder. Kasim, how you doing this morning?
Hi Josh, man. I'm doing amazing, man. How you doing?
This has been a really cool day. I was just telling you before we jumped on here, for the people just joining us right now, let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're tuning in from. How did you even type in right now? How did you even find Educate, Inspire, Change? What does Educate, Inspire, Change mean to you? To answer your question, man, I'm just feeling grateful. I'm feeling grateful that we're in this time and place where these medicines, these tools, these healing modalities actually exist. You've been to Rhythmia twice. We're going to talk a lot about
Yeah,
Rhythmia. We're also going to talk about the documentary Awakening the Soul. How
yeah.
long did this learning process take for you to actually formulate the idea for awakening the soul? Like, tell people, man, what is
Yeah.
awakening the soul?
Okay, so Awakening the Soul is basically documenting my journey before ayahuasca and during ayahuasca and then after ayahuasca. So it's just showing the journey of reconnecting your soul to your body, the journey of having your heart healed, of realizing who you become, and packaging all that into like an hour-long documentary. It's basically following me through Rhythmia, through each night of my ceremonies, interviewing people like Jerry and the shamans and anyone else that works at Rhythmia, and even some of the other guests that were there, hearing about their journey. So it's just a documentary that does cover people, having their souls awakened by Mother Ayahuasca.
Yeah, you've been putting out some amazing content. There's a video that you put out where it's you in a backyard, you're being interviewed, and it was about
Mm.
being brainwashed. Can you talk to us, man, about this concept of being brainwashed? Because I think so many people forget, like, we're being brainwashed all day long by the news media, by the common
Mm.
narrative, yet Educate, Inspire, Change, way different narrative. Like, where did this concept come from, the brainwashing, the unbrainwashing yourself?
Mhm. So I think 7 years ago when I first made Educate Inspire Change, my purpose was to kind of like find my own truth and to share truth with the others and to raise awareness on issues that mattered. And I felt like me coming from a Muslim background, I used to eat meat, I was a Muslim. So my values and things had changed a lot in my life. And I realized it was because of my upbringing, just because of the walls that were built around me shaped my upbringing. And most people never are even aware of these walls, and most people never overcome them.
Mm.
So, like, I was really grateful that I was able to kind of find my own purpose. I was able to see what I was doing wrong and to try to overcome it, and then use that knowledge to share with others. Because I used the analogy that, like, a fish in a bowl never knows anything about other lakes or oceans or anything around it. It
Yeah.
would take something else to tell that fish that there's other oceans and lakes. So like humans, we're born into systems, we're born into religions, into family belief systems and whatnot. And until someone else comes from outside, externally, and gives us information and knowledge that can expand our consciousness, only then can we finally realize that there's other things out there for us. There's more to
Mm.
life than what we know. So that this is one of my biggest purposes in life. And then obviously that Educate, Inspire, Change journey led me to learn about DMT and ayahuasca. And then by chance, Rhythmia just mailed me and invited me over there. So it just kind of was part of the journey,
This is
and
what
part
brought
of,
us together as well, which was really
yeah, yeah,
exciting, man. Don't
yeah.
you feel like, Kasim, the medicine brings people together where they come together and it's like, wow, we're here for a specific purpose. And I loved how you said too that some people, they go through these thresholds and they realize,
Mm,
like, wait a minute, I don't have to be brainwashed anymore. There's actually someone that posted here, Ellen says, hello from Southern California, finding who I am
um,
after a heart attack and a heartbreak. Ellen,
oh,
like, let's take a deep breath for you, because this is exactly what we're exploring with Kasim today. Is we
mm,
have these threshold moments in our lives where we kind of wake up to how powerful we actually are. I know you
mm,
went to Rhythmia twice this year. Can you
mm.
tell people how you woke up to just how powerful you are? And also, dude, why you came back from behind the scenes to now be in front of the camera?
Okay, yeah. So my first experience at Rhythmia was very much about reconnecting to my soul and kind of dealing with my issues and traumas and whatnot. And then the second time I went to Rhythmia, it was for me personally to go much deeper. I felt like there was more for me to learn and more for me to heal. And one of my biggest intentions in my second visit was to show me my purpose. And there's a beautiful story about how I found my purpose. So on one of the nights, I'm speaking to the cup of ayahuasca, and my intentions are to heal my heart and to show me my purpose.
Mm.
And then halfway through the night, one of the girls who's next to me, she's having a super, super intense experience. She's channeling so much energy. She's singing, she's dancing, and she's crying, and she's purging. And then halfway through the night, she stops and she just grabs me and says, me and you and me, together, we're going to change the world. And she kept repeating this over and over, and I kept saying, yeah, together we're going to change the world. But then at the end of the night, we just kind of like laughed it off. It was just a fun thing to say to each other. But the next morning, she said to me, that was Mother Ayahuasca talking to me through her, that those words weren't her speaking. And that just blew me away. And then when I told her that I happen to have a business called Educate, Inspire, Change the World, it blew her mind as well, you know. And so that just really reinforced what I'm doing. It made me come from behind the screen to in front of the screen like I'm doing now with you.
Yeah.
It gave me that sense of self-love, and that I have a message to share. And it took me from a journey from my head to my heart, you know. So now when I speak, I speak from my heart, I speak from my soul, I speak freely, I speak with confidence, I speak with love, I speak with a purpose. I'm no longer suffering from anxiety, or I'm no longer wondering what am I going to say, or how are people going to receive me. I'm just purely in love with the message I have, and I want to share it. You know?
This is so powerful, man. I remember when I was at Rhythmia on the very last night, I said something that was profound. I said, I feel like I've been practicing to be myself. And everyone kind of felt it. I think all of us, and write us in the comments here if you know what we're talking about. Do you ever feel like you're figuring it out and you're kind of practicing being yourself instead of just letting go and being yourself? This is really the awakening, the soul that you and your co-author, the filmmaker, are doing. How did you guys come together? We're going to preview this, so everybody stay on right now. We're actually going to show a clip, a 90-second clip for everyone to enjoy about awakening the soul. But tell us, man, like this film, just the trailer gave me chills. It's a really good trailer. So how did you guys come together, and what was the vision behind this documentary?
So it's funny, me and Sam only met about a year or a year and a half ago. But 5 years ago, he made a page called Live, Learn, Evolve. And 7 years ago, I made a page called Educate, Inspire, Change. So the synchronicity there is just beautiful. You know, we made very similar pages. It's 3 words, and it was kind of somehow we came together. He was great at making videos and a filmmaker, and it attracted me to his work. And then I just said to him, listen, man, I want to go to Rhythmia. I want a really good filmmaker to come with me. Do you want to join? And it just so happened he hadn't done ayahuasca either, so he wanted to do the medicine as well. So both of us just for the first time journeyed together. We got as much of it as we could in film, and the trailers, you know, what we have so far to show you. And hopefully the full documentary will be ready in November. It's
amazing. There's a ton of comments coming in. James says, I don't have to be brainwashed anymore. Absolutely. So we'll make sure that we link Kasim's video about unbrainwashing yourself. Let's do this. There's a ton of comments, love and respect, really feeling like this is an important topic. This phrase of awakening the soul. I think in our personal development industry, we hear a lot of people say this word awakening, but how would you actually describe that, man? If somebody is awakening?
So like at Rhythmia, they describe it as during childhood, we have a soul split, you know? So some traumatic experiences or just even anything in your life that kind of causes you to lose trust with yourself and trust with your loved ones and trust with the planet, you lose trust and your soul splits from you, you know? Yeah. So I would describe the soul awakening as being reintroduced to your soul and then building a trusting relationship with your soul. You're no longer going to harm your soul. Your soul has trust with you, and that's for me. So it's awakening and also reconnecting to your soul. It's almost like there's 2 of us, you know. Yeah. There's the innocent child in all of us, and then there's this other egotistical side of us, you know. And there's a constant battle that goes on through our lives. But when those 2 can live in harmony and work together, that's when we're at our most abundant and at our most constructive and at our most creative and our most loving, you know.
Mic drop, Kasim. Let's preview this clip right now so you guys can check out what's coming with Awakening the Soul.
And to this moment, DMT is just the most amazing thing in the universe. I mean, it shouldn't exist.
Is actually trying to do the same thing that we're trying to do. The medicine's trying to show you who you become. It's trying to merge you back with your soul, and it's trying to heal your heart.
Plants have an intelligence, just like every living thing does. And the plants are here to try to show us how to be authentic and how to be our true nature and how to have harmony with the universe.
Disorders, whether that's disease, addiction, sadness, we believe is a result of a soul split. The place is dedicated to remerging.
A strong hit of it, which is in no way dangerous, but simply a true boundary-dissolving hit, it's into some place. It's almost like, well, I once said, you know, there's danger of death by astonishment.
Okay, talk about taking my breath away. That trailer, like when I remember I showed my girlfriend, Carrie Michelle, and she was like, I want to go to Rhythmia, like right away. I mean, and there's a ton of people commenting right now, one love for all blessed. Yes, this message, just in that 90 seconds, I think what we were all feeling, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, is just inspiration. Almost like you're giving people a window into the tool for accessing their power. Is that what this is really about? Is that one segment of this?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I think through my business, I've realised the power of inspiration. You know, the greatest gift you can give someone is to inspire them, you know. So that's one of the reasons why I picked Sam to help make the trailer and the video, because I found that he really understood how to capture people's attention and to kind of inspire them through the art of film, you know. So that's what we want to do with this documentary. We want to inspire people to kind of, we're going to ignite that flame in them so that they want to go on this journey, because it's a very hard thing to do. People don't want to meet their demons. People don't want to deal with pain or growth. So, like, you really need to inspire them to get off their bum and go and do it, you know.
Yeah.
Just to kind of book the ticket, just to take the plunge, just to drink that cup of ayahuasca, because it's very hard. It took me many years just to pluck up the courage to even consider doing it, you know.
Yep.
So like, I'm hoping that this video, that our lives, that the documentary, that everything I'm doing just inspires people every day to try to take, we're planting seeds, you know, so the seeds are going to grow. And I just hope they grow for people that are watching this, and especially that watch the documentary, you know.
And I feel like we're all planting seeds, whether we're conscious of it or not. You know, one of the most powerful phrases that I've ever heard about conscious and unconscious was from Carl Jung, right? And he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it'll rule your life and you will call it fate. So there's a lot of people watching and listening right now that, you know, maybe are making decisions that they're not even aware of. You know, how many things are happening on autopilot where the unconscious is ruling so many ways that we either give love to people or we guard our heart. This term of the heart wall. A lot of people that I went to Rhythmia with and that I've done ceremonies with, they've noticed that in ceremony, ayahuasca shows them this massive heart wall, and it's fear of being hurt. This is a real thing. There's someone here, says Matthew, says, I'm slowly loving myself. What can I do to truly help myself love myself? This is the heart wall we're talking about. So Matthew's asking, like, I'd like to know if there's any tips to be at harmony and love oneself.
Okay, so great question. There's probably so many different ways to do it, but for me, what worked for me is I have young children, yeah. So like I visualize whatever I'm doing. I visualize them next to me, and if you don't have children, visualize the younger version of yourself, like the 3-year-old or the 4-year-old version of you, and visualize them crying for help or in need of love or a hug or a kiss or a cuddle, anything. Yeah. What would you do? How unconditionally would you love that child? Yeah, and now realize that child is in fact you. You know, so how you treat that child is in fact how you treat yourself. So the way I love my children unconditionally, no questions asked, no matter what they do wrong or right, I'm still going to love them. You have to treat yourself with the same way. And if you do have children one day and they see you acting this way, then you're going to pass on that gift to them. So the cycle of pain ends with you. Your children don't have to suffer what you're suffering, you know. And this is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to your future generations, you know.
I feel like it's about cultivating the courage too, because what these medicines do and what this, it's basically the most ancient intelligence that ever exists. It's a channel. It's a gateway to the highest intelligence, the creator, the God, the spirit. And I don't care what your faith is. I think all of us are kind of connecting to God in the best way we can. But let's be honest, Kasim, we get scarred. You know, we have things like we lose people we love, people die, like real shit happens, and it becomes so painful that men and women don't want to open their hearts anymore. And I think that's really what we're talking about here.
Very much so, yeah. I mean, the experiences you have on ayahuasca are so profound, so spiritual, so divine that, like, I think that's what it is. It kind of gives you like an electric shock. It just opens your heart up, you know. Yeah. It kind of forces you down that path, and then you come out of that experience, and it's very hard to go back to the way you were before, because your heart and your mind and your soul's been blown open by this powerful intelligence, you know. And it's up to you what you do after that. It's very important for people to realize that ayahuasca wakes you up, it shows you the way, but the work is up to you. So it's what you do afterwards that really will define how much you improve as a person, how much you heal. Because for me, I struggled with integration personally. Yeah. When I came back from ayahuasca, I found it really hard to connect with certain people. I found it really hard to not fall back into old habits, because I was just so like overwhelmed with emotion and all the stuff that I'd experienced. I didn't know how to get back into normal life, you know. So I struggled, and even still, I'm still battling with it every day, you know. Yeah. But it's those daily practices, is breathing, meditation, eating healthier, you know, avoiding confrontation, just looking after yourself better, and being gentler with yourself. All these daily practices add up, and over the months and months and months, you start to realize that ayahuasca is a lifelong journey. It's not just a few hours in a Maloka in the jungle, you know? It's what you do when you go home.
Yeah, I feel like the real ceremony is actually the kickoff to the ultimate ceremony, which is life. This life that we're all living, right? Like, so after the ceremony comes the integration. This is why quality centers, you know, like Rhythmia, have programs where they're actually guiding people through a process of how to integrate. Because let's be honest, when you drink from a fire hose while you're riding a roller coaster, which is kind of what a ceremony feels like, it can be overwhelming. It can be overpowering to the nervous system and really to the conscious mind, to the subconscious mind when people come back home. So how do you think that this film specifically, Awakening the Soul, will give people that understanding that have been through ceremonies themselves? Do you think that this will allow them to integrate in a more calm space, or allow them to integrate better than if they didn't have it?
I think so, and I hope so, because they're going to see people going through journeys firsthand, you know, and they're going to see the impact from beginning, middle, and end, and how it affects people. And it's going to give them maybe that peace of mind, that comfort, knowing that the journey is going to be really hard. It's going to be really, you know, a lot of pain, a lot of growth, but at the end of it, the end result is going to be healing, you know. Yeah. So I think it's just getting inspired by others, just seeing others' journey. That's how we learn, don't we? We're inspired by those before us. How many times do we recite quotes? How many times do we read books? So it's just creating stories for people to be inspired by, to learn from, to grow from. And that's what filmmaking is. Filmmaking is just a type of storytelling, isn't it? Yeah. So we're trying to tell stories to people, and for them to take encouragement, to learn from. Each person will take something different from the documentary, you know. It depends on your perspective as well. So I just hope that inspires people, and it brings them some comfort, and they can watch it back over and over, and then, you know, they can make their own stories.
Yes. If you're just tuning in now, we did preview the 90-second clip from Awakening the Soul, so make sure that you watch this video again, and also share this if you're feeling like some of the things we've discussed today touched on your heart a little bit, or they maybe made you think a different way, or allowed you to explore, hey, maybe a ceremony, or maybe just talking to my mom, or maybe just opening my heart wall a little bit. If that came up for you in this video, share this thing right now. Let people know, like, we don't have to be slaves to our emotions. The thoughts and the feelings that we're having are not always ours. Isn't that the truth, my friend? So tell people where they can learn more about this documentary, and also what's coming next for you with Educate, Inspire, Change. Because I know things have shifted, man. The tree has been shaken for Educate, Inspire, Change.
Yeah, very much so. So the documentary, obviously, once it's been published, it will be live on Educate, Inspire, Change on all our platforms, on YouTube, Educate, Inspire, Change, on our Facebook page, which you're watching now. And hopefully we're going to try to pitch it to a few of the bigger platforms out there, possibly Netflix and Amazon, but we'll see if that comes
Let's
to
get
fruition.
this thing on HBO.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Let's do
go
this.
for it, man. I mean, the sky's the limit, you know?
Yeah.
And so, making this documentary for me was very much a learning curve. It's the first one I've ever filmed. I felt like I wanted to get much more on camera the second time round. So I'm actually returning to Rhythmia on the 27th of October for a week. And I'm going to be filming much more intimately my journey, speaking direct with the shamans, and just trying to capture much more on the camera. And also, part of the journey, I'm going to be going to an Iboga retreat in December, and then another very intimate retreat in January. And I'm going to capture all 11 or 12 ceremonies on camera, and I'm going to get permission from the shamans and from the people around to really capture what we can on camera, and just to, you know, so people can see what the effects of ayahuasca are. I want them to see the good side, the bad sides, and the end results, and I want to see everything, you know, no holds barred.
Yes.
So I mentioned I'm going to see an Iboga retreat in December. So Iboga is like the father as opposed to the mother, yeah? So it's a much more kind of harsher version of plant medicine, if I'm correct, yeah?
This is what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, so one of my friends at ayahuasca, she returned, the same friend that told me about my purpose. She returned to Rhythmia a few months later with her mother and her father, and she called me, and she said to me, Kasim, I've got a message for you. I said, what's the message? And she said, the message is Iboga is waiting for you. You know, and it was really surreal, because a week before she had called, the owner of an Iboga retreat in Nosara in Costa Rica called me and invited me over. So while I was deciding to go, she called me, made that call, and it made my decision for me, you know. So I feel like me, my friend, and ayahuasca have this kind of relationship, this symbiosis going, where we're kind of delivering messages to each other. It's really powerful. So I'm looking forward to going to Iboga in December. It's going to be really powerful for me, because I'm still struggling with falling into old bad habits, you know. And Iboga, I think, will give me that little bit of tough love that I'm really looking for. Yeah. So that's going to be part of the documentary that's coming up. That'll be in December. It's going to be a very intimate retreat, only 7 people in the room at any one time. So it'll be very one-on-one work, you know, and I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously the last retreat in January, and we'll capture all that in film. And this time next year, hopefully you'll see that on documentary, and hopefully on Netflix and HBO and wherever else.
Well, the sky is the limit. I mean, you've created such an incredible brand, and really this channel, the Educate Inspired channel, Change channel, it's giving people permission, like access to actually who they are. And I think that's what I feel for you is gratitude for that. This is why Wellness Force loves you, because it's funny, like the medicine brought you and I together. The medicine's bringing people to this message here on Facebook Live right now. So please share this message with people that you care about. If you're curious about plant medicine, or if you're curious about ceremony, or honestly, even if you're just looking to better yourself, make sure that you post a comment here, because Kasim and his team will go through the entire thing. Kasim, thank you for what you do in the world, brother. I so love and appreciate you. And it's a true honor to do this work, man, with you.
Thank you so much, man. It's an honor to know you. Thank you for helping me, and I'm sure we're going to work together a lot more in the future. That's another thing I want to mention before you go. Is we're going to launch a podcast soon, and hopefully you, Josh, are going to be a big part of that. So we'll be interviewing guests from all around the world. So please keep your eyes open for the upcoming podcast that we're going to make on Educate, Inspire, Change.
Yes, and maybe tell Kasim, can you interview Graham Hancock for guest number 1?
Yeah, I'd love that, man. Yeah,
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, guys, Kasim and Josh, we're out. Thank you for being here. And remember to take deep breaths. Practice compassion for yourself. This work is challenging, so be kind to yourself as you do this work. Bye, guys.
Thank you.